What can drive a human being to leave everything they've ever known and everyone that they care for behind? For some, it's love. For others, it's the search for better opportunities. For many, it's just the need for change in their lives. One thing's for certain, doesn't matter the reason, the moment that you leave home, you are no longer the same. You're now a foreigner. You discover a world where millions coexist. Some struggle, but many thrive. Today I'm going to tell you 5 things that only foreigners know. What's up, people? Hola, VIGO'S dad here. Welcome to another episode. You know, the idea of moving to a new place and starting your life from scratch, it's pretty terrifying. But if you have gone through it, you will also agree with me that it's pretty exhilarating. You're in this new place with so many options and so much to discover. If you think about it, that's pretty exciting. But it also comes with many challenges, like setting up bank accounts and finding house and make sure that you don't get scammed. And that's even if you speak the language. Do you speak the language? Maybe you don't speak the language. You don't understand what is happening. You cannot read contracts. I'm getting PTSD just thinking about all that stuff. Now, for the sake of this episode, I want to be a little bit more inclusive. If we find the description of the word foreigner, then you'll find that it's a person that lives in a country different than the one that they were born in. But I want to take a little creative license and I want to encompass in the description of a foreigner any person that is living anywhere else outside of where they were born and raised in. So for example, this includes a town. If you were born in Łódź but you live in Warsaw, Poland, then for this episode right now, let's just say that you are also a foreigner, okay? And the reason why I want to do this is because even if you are in the same country, just moving city, sometimes it's enough of a difference and of a shock for you. If you are a foreigner living in another country or in another town than the one you were raised in, comment in the box below, where are you living, how long you've been living there, because man, it's tough out here for us foreigners. So the first thing that only foreigners know is that you don't know where home is anymore. Yes, you know where you come from, you know who you are or who you were when you were there, the people that you used to hang out with and the things that you love to do. But there's a caveat. You are no longer that person. You've changed. Even if ever so slightly, you're not the same person that was there back home doing the same things that you've always done. Your friends' old jokes maybe don't mean the same anymore. The house that you grew up in doesn't feel as comfy as it once did. And God, even the store around the corner, possibly maybe it's not even there. Although your mom and your grandma's food, it's still pretty fucking awesome, thank God. You know your way around every corner, every little spot. You've been there, but somehow, some way, it feels a little bit different. And you cannot put a finger on exactly what is it. It's not necessarily that it feels bad, but it just feels different. How come your small studio apartment, or even worse, your tiny bedroom, that is in a house that you share with 4 other people, all of a sudden feels more like home than your house, where you grew up in? I remember the first time after living abroad that I came back to my mom's house and I stood up in the middle of the night and got completely lost. I did not know where I was. I did not know which side of the bed. There was supposed to be a wall right here, in my house where I was living in Spain, and here there's no wall. I was so lost. Technically speaking, I knew that I was in Dominican Republic, but for whatever reason my mind did not compute that I was now in a different physical space. And not only this, but now you've gotten acquainted with your new environment, the new customs, the behavior that the locals have, the new store where you get your groceries now. All those things have become your new normal. Simple but powerful things have now changed your views on many issues, like for example, the food that you eat or you don't eat, or your stance on socio-political issues. Maybe that has changed. Even religion, depending on how your new country compares to your home country, maybe now you have a different outlook on things like that. Number 2, the friendship drama. There is so much dirt and confusion that gets created, and to be honest with you, us, the ones that left, the foreigners, we are also to blame for whatever happens. But let's start from the beginning. it almost feels like a romantic relationship. You're all sad because you're leaving and you're spending time together and you promise each other that nothing is gonna change and we'll keep talking and basically we're just gonna be apart physically, but we are gonna be there emotionally for each other. But wait, let's face it, I think that's maybe what girls do. I don't think guys are having deep conversations with each other about surviving friendship and stuff like that. Then you start living your new life. At the beginning, everything's fine. You guys speak all the time, you're chatting, you even schedule wine nights over webcam. Then slowly but surely, things start changing and people change jobs, new babies are born, and all of a sudden you don't have the same amount of time to chat with each other, so you start feeling a little bit abandoned. Now, I should explain, I don't believe that many of these feelings of abandonment are caused by your friends neglecting the relationship. I think this is a process that many of us foreigners go through. At the beginning is that excitement, the exhilarating change, and you're driven by adrenaline. And then of course you hit a spot that is called the FOMO, right? The fear of missing out. You see pictures of people getting together every weekend and all of a sudden you feel left out from the action. You feel abandoned. And then of course after this little dip in your emotional state, you find some sort of balance in your new home, in your new place, with your new life. But there is a lot of truth in the fact that when you're not physically present in a place, you're going to be missing out on things, for sure. Remember, communication is as physical as it is verbal. So if your friends are all together watching the game on a Saturday night and you're not there, you're going to miss out on many things. Because of this separation, the friendships are going to go through this phase of strain where there's going to be a little bit of tension. Things are going to feel a little bit off, a little bit weird. I believe that this is normal, and as a matter of fact, I think that it's even healthy because it creates a natural calendar, right? Where you're gonna kind of like put here all the friends that you have, your friends. Remember, we have friends, we have acquaintances. The moment you move abroad, then that's when you really know who are your real friends. And it goes to you. Your friends will know if you are a real friend. You didn't just leave and forgot about them. Number 3, you become less emotional. The definition of emotional is having intense feelings that are openly displayed. And having said that, I believe that the longer you are a foreigner in a place, the less emotional you become. I know that maybe this sounds like a bad thing.
Yeah, what do you mean? That because I'm an expat all of a sudden I feel things less? Huh? I have less emotions? I care less? What are you talking about?
Not really. Let me explain. Your ability to express and feel emotions, it's an innate thing. It's something that you're born with. But when you go through certain life experiences, I believe that the brain adjusts some parameters along the way. And this is a great moment to make a disclaimer. I'm not a psychologist, a psychiatrist, or a trained professional in the area. I'm only speaking based on my own empirical experiences, so please don't take my opinions as if they are scientifically proven. Okay? Disclaimer closed. You know who your friends are, you know that some of them will get married and you're gonna be there. It doesn't matter what, you will be there because there's a predictability around living in the same place and dealing with the same people and doing the same things. A foreigner in a new culture, a new country, the set of challenges that come their way, I believe are a little bit higher. There's a little bit more of those unexpected things that get thrown your way. If you're, let's say, from Spain and you're used to your siesta, it doesn't throw you off if your boss tells you, we'll deal with this after siesta. But if you come from Germany and all of a sudden you are in the middle of getting something done and they tell you, okay, we're gonna go all for siesta, you're probably gonna be like, what? You're gonna start feeling strong emotions. Sometimes you're gonna feel angry. Sometimes you're gonna feel sad and you wanna cry. But you're gonna have to learn to manage those emotions because you are dealing with a new set of circumstances. So being overly emotional when you are out of your comfort zone, let me give you a personal experience. The first time that I moved to Europe and I started hanging out with a lot of Europeans, I quickly noticed that I had to start managing my energy a little bit because Latinos are known for being, very energetic and we talk to people and we put hands in the shoulders, and not everyone feels comfortable with that. And I am sure no one actually told me, but I am sure that some people probably felt uncomfortable at some point, and I realized I need to dial it down a little bit. For some time, maybe I dialed it down a little bit too much, but I never lost the essence of who I was. I just learned to control my emotions better and become a little bit more easy to deal with. So I do believe that in time, you start controlling your emotions better. And that's when I say that you become less emotional. It's just that you're able to cope with whatever it is that you feel and the things that are brewing inside of you with a little bit more of a, let's say, steady hand. Number 4, you feel guilty. You feel guilty for missing out on so many things back home, for not being able to be there for your family as much as you would have been if you were still living there. Have you ever had to break down the bad news to your mom that you're not going to be able to make it for Sunday lunch? Well, imagine telling her that you're not going to be able to make it for Christmas or for Easter. It's pretty difficult, let me tell you. Why you cannot? Well, for several reasons. Maybe you don't have enough free days from work, or maybe your girlfriend or boyfriend already bought some tickets to go skiing in the mountains and you just cannot get out from that invitation. Things will happen because you are living a different life in another place. It really does create a feeling of guilt inside of you. At the same time, you feel guilty for other more trivial things, like overpaying for stuff. Like, Jesus, I know that they're charging me more than I should pay on this apartment. But you're out of the know-how, know-who circle. So you have to kind of like trust a little bit what is happening. And many times you don't even speak the language. You cannot read a contract fully to know what is happening, what you're getting yourself into. So you feel a little bit guilty in those circumstances, that maybe there's more you can do, but at the same time, there really isn't. Another very interesting feeling of guilt comes when you cannot really decide anymore, where do you like it better? Do I like it better back home with my friends and my family and, you know, my hometown? Or have I gotten so used to where I am here that this is home now? This is where I feel good. I cannot decide, and that creates a lot of weird feelings inside of you. And number 5 and final thing is gratefulness. Many foreigners strengthen this sensation of gratefulness because they start understanding that you need to appreciate the circumstance that you're in. Yeah, not always is easy. I'm sure we've all hit patches where we are like, it would be a lot easier if we were just back home. But at the same time, you have been given the opportunity to experience things that many people back home have not experienced, and being able to meet people from all over the world and see and understand the world that you were living in from a completely different angle through the eyes of foreigners, through the eyes of different cultures. So I believe that this creates a lot of appreciation when someone has been living abroad for a long time. Also, there is the fact that not many people in the world have the opportunity to even be able to leave their place of birth. They either have economical problems or they're in a country whose political situation is unstable. So even if they wanted to, they couldn't. And I believe that gratefulness is one of the things that you really develop and become aware when you are a foreigner. Boom! That's all, guys. That's the end of the episode. I hope you liked it. If you're a foreigner watching this, come on, give me a thumbs up. Did you comment below? Did you put down there your story? Come on, we want to hear it. Where are you? Where are you living? Being a foreigner is not easy. It's not easy, but you grow a lot. If you are a family member of a foreigner or someone that is living in another country, I hope this video helped you to see, understand a little bit more, kind of like what they're going through. I did this episode with a lot of love because it really touches me here in the heart as a person that has been living abroad for many years. Anyways, thank you very much, guys. See you next week. Adios.